Hello and welcome to a new Kerbal Space Program video and liftoff. So this video, as you probably can see right now, is a little bit fast forward, around 2 times the normal speed, so that you don't have to sit through it. But the mission of, today's mission is, as you probably already can see, going to the space station, which we have sent into low Kerbal orbit in the last episode, and yeah, continuing the construction of it, and of course using something new, not a plane rocket, but a space shuttle or shuttle type system. It is not really shuttle type, but it is quite overpowered, by the way. You can see with those 4 big boosters. But yeah, anyways, I thought getting those 4 boosters was more or less the best approach onto making this thing really capable. Even though it's not quite aerodynamically stable, we had no real issues this time. No real issues getting it up into orbit. It's not a really efficient approach, but we have more than enough fuel, so that isn't a problem. You can see once we switch out of the map view, if we will see, yeah, there we go, that we have a docking port connected to the central stage, and this central stage is, should be reusable, and it will return later down to Kerbin to be refurbished and reused, of course. And as you can see, there we go, now we have the detachment of it, and then we have the shuttle's own engines, or the orbiter's own engines, Rapier's engines, so in theory it could fly like a plane. Even though they're not the most efficient, I thought this would be a good idea. Anyways, now we're just trying to make orbit, get into orbit, and some sort of encounter with the space station, so that we are close to it. But first of all, getting into orbit is my main concern, because now we have to switch back to the other thing, since it is already re-entering the atmosphere. As you can see, they are almost like SpaceX, those grid fins, just this time built with the in-game aero brakes. Not quite aerodynamically stable the way it was supposed to be, but I think that's also some sort of issue of the SAS, since the autocontrol always does something weird because we are flying backwards and the control surfaces are not quite the way they're supposed to be, and after disabling SAS and activating the brakes, the air brakes of course, it was more or less aerodynamically stable. Now just waiting until we have a nice touchdown. Yeah, and later we will see in the shuttle the payload that is quite heavy, and despite being quite heavy we managed to get there safely. So now we can see how this stage landed, and we were going to recover it and reuse it and so on and so forth. Even though we have a sandbox safe, whatever, we can always think about how it's reusable. Anyways, back to the shuttle. Now we have here, we're now not quite in a good orbit to encounter the space station, and there we can see the payload. Beautiful, isn't it? And I think, I haven't done any videos on how to rendezvous or create maneuver nodes or anything along those lines. There are plenty of them out on YouTube, so if you, I might do one sometime, but at the moment I don't think that's really necessary. Anyways, you can see now me trying around with the maneuver node to get an encounter. You could see this quickly, and the yellow, whilst hovering over it, the yellow marker told us that the separation was, if everything goes according to this maneuver node, around 1 kilometer, so 1,000 meters away from the space dock. That's really good for, for one, 66 meter per second burn, so pretty cheap, and we have almost half of fuel, half of the fuel of the orbiter itself, so there are no fuel concerns whatsoever. Now they're 1.3 kilometers, as you saw earlier. Time warping up, approaching the station 1.5 kilometers away, cancelling the relative velocity so that we're not really flying off, and matching orbits. So I prefer using, of course, the targeting, so that we have the relative speed to the station instead of the absolute speed. But that's, well, not too important at the moment. Anyways, we are 500 meters away from the space station, and we're just cancelling our orbital complete velocity, isn't it? Now just a slight burn towards the station. Time warping forwards, now 200 meters. Quite close. Beautiful, isn't it? And as you could see right now, the previous stage was connected with the docking port, so that we have one more attachment node if we want to dock with the station, because if you can remember, the station has a big docking port on the back side. However, as I just realized at this moment, whilst approaching, there is still the what was the orbital stage, I think. Well, the last stage that more or less brought us into orbit or circularized is still attached to the space station, so we have no way to dock with the space station with the payload. I don't know if you have seen it already, or at least not really remembered. The payload is around, well, has as well a big docking port, so we have to get this thing free. Now, turning the shuttle more or less towards max to the space station, so that we have an easier way, less distance to cross with the payload. With our CS, more or less, reaction controls. Our CS stands for reaction control system, for those who don't know. And yeah, now you can see very good, the bottom stage is still attached, even though, yeah, we don't really need it. Now just deorbiting it, so burning away. Now you can see at the trajectory right now that it is intersecting the planet's surface, so we don't have to worry about space junk too much. That's always a good thing, even though not too important. Well, at the moment at least, not too important junking everything. Everything's not full of junk, so yeah. Now you can see this very good, the payload. It's a cupola, yeah, for good view, looking down on the Kerbin, like the cupola at the ISS. I think it is derived from it, but I don't know. I'm no game designer, so I'm not sure. That's just speculating. And a science module. Now turning on the lights and we have of course some crew in it. So this will be also the first crew to be on our space station. So now we can some beautiful shots for my Instagram. Yes, I'm having an Instagram account, so if you really want to have some sneak peeks, so before the episodes go online, or just generally about, well, mainly about the channel, so some that I bought new things. Like for example, I've bought a few days ago a new headset for improved audio quality, because my other microphone I was using earlier or before was not quite good, and some people told me that the audio is the thing that I should really improve on. So I really hope you have no better audio quality. And yeah, I think that's out of the way. And oh yeah, what I want to say is that on Instagram I've posted that I bought my new equipment, so you can always check this out there. Anyways, we are now 3 meters, 2 meters away from the space station, right about to dock, and there we go, our first space station. Well, the second part to our first space station with crew members, and now 2 more crew members are still in the shuttle. So let's dock. I thought right now let's dock the shuttle. So yeah, after long, experimenting and getting close to the space station, we finally got the docking again on the dark side. Kind of took quite long to dock right now. Well, right now it took me around quarter of an hour to dock the shuttle, even though we're in the vicinity. Somehow the docking ports didn't want to line up properly. But anyways, that's it. That's it for today's episode. We have successfully constructed the next part of a space station and used our shuttle. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time.